Hello, Mirabel members. I'm Jeff Gore, the golf course superintendent at Mirabel. Just a quick update on some of the summer activity we have and a few other items to touch on. As most are aware, we recently aerated the greens. The greens are recovering quite nicely and been very pleased with their progress so far. We've also done a solid tine aeration on all fairways and currently are doing a solid tine aeration in all the rough, which should be wrapped up in the next day or two. In the very near future, we'll be V-cutting all the tees, as well as doing a sand top dressing on those tee boxes as well, keeping them nice and flat and uniform and a good playing surface. In July, we'll be doing a core aeration on our fairways, followed by a deep tine aeration shortly thereafterwards. So even though in the summer months, a lot of the club activity gets slower, we tend to get a lot busier here in golf course maintenance. And what I just listed above was just a few of our cultural practices that will be ongoing. This tends to keep our staff very busy, along with setting the course up for daily play. Keeps us very busy with the work. We also have considerable detail work to do, in particular with the summer Bermuda grass on the bunkers. Not only are we raking the bunkers, but the growth habits of the bunkers, edging, hand trimming, all the runners that tend to go into the bunkers. We do put quite a bit of labor into the bunkers during the summer months. Many members have noticed over recent months we've put a little bit more focus on our desert cleanup and some of the natural areas around the golf course. This is ongoing. We have brought in an outside contractor the last couple weeks. This is their third week currently. They're on hole 13, working on what I'm calling the desert side, thinning and removing some of the plant material from the overspray of the irrigation system. It's been a very large task at hand, and they've been removing a lot of material. In conjunction with that, our staff has been working on the tee boxes, doing a lot of pruning and thinning, working on sight lines to the golf course. And again, that's ongoing as well as we speak. We'll be reviewing this throughout the summer and continuing throughout the summer. The outside contractor at this point is scheduled for 3 weeks of work, and then we'll reconvene to see if we bring him back for additional work later in the summer. We'll also be putting some greater emphasis around some of the high profile areas or high detail areas in the golf course, around boulder sets as well, and our staff in-house will be cleaning up and pruning back and trying to opening up those boulders and high profile areas around the golf course. This work will be continuing through the summer. Our goal is being by the end of the summer, beginning of the next season, to have it all in place. And then as the desert grows and trees grows, we'll be back at it next year during our frost delays and into next spring. A quick update on transition here at Mirabel. First of all, some general understanding what transition means and why we do it here at Mirabel. First of all, there's cool season and warm season turfs for golf courses. Obviously, cool season are generally in the northern climates where there's heavy frost or snow. And then warm season turfs typically occur in areas where there's minimal frost or no frost whatsoever. Here at Mirabel, we're in an area called the transition zone. So we kind of bounce in between warm and cool season turfs depending on the year. Obviously our greens here at Mirabel are bent grass. They are cool season. So we do have that turf year round. So we do have cool season turf year round on our greens. That is not the case for everywhere in the valley. Just 10 miles south of us, most courses are Bermuda grass greens, and they transition between cool season and warm season on those greens during the season. Our fairways and rough are Bermuda grass, so those are warm season turfs, and then we overseed them obviously in the fall with a perennial ryegrass. Currently, we're transitioning from rye to Bermuda grass. So right now is the process we call transitioning. We do use a selective herbicide to help facilitate this transition. Otherwise, with our cooler nights here at Mirabel, sometimes that rye likes to hang around a little longer than we choose to. So what should one expect? First of all, it's never seamless and it's never easy. And every year it's a little different. And that's for a variety of reasons, but basically for the last 8 months now, that ryegrass has been covering up that Bermuda grass in the fairways. So now the Bermuda has to emerge from dormancy and try to outcompete the ryegrass, and that's what we're doing right now. It's still early to tell. I can just guarantee there will be some thin areas out there Some are already visible, but overall looking pretty good, looks fairly strong. We'll continue to push these thin areas with fertilizers and with water. And we're also heavily dependent on humidity. As I mentioned before, warm season turfs are usually in the southern part of the United States, but they're also usually in tropical areas near oceans, areas with much higher humidity. So even though we were 109 degrees last week, I think we were about 6% humidity. That's not ideal Bermuda grass weather. It really enjoys humidity much more so than the high temperatures. So there's many environmental factors with transition, and it can vary from course to course. As I mentioned before, even from hole to hole, course to course, we can see different environmental factors that will impact transition, north-facing slopes, south-facing slopes, etc. And as I mentioned earlier, courses not too far from here have chosen to get away from bent grass greens and go to Bermuda grass greens just due to some of the heat stresses. So every location is different. So it's quite simply, transition is not my favorite time of year. Definitely not. I enjoy overseeding. Overseeding should be viewed as a full grow-in of a golf course, and transition is another grow-in of the golf course. But transition is a very difficult one for a superintendent as well, and I would ask some patience and understanding. But again, I'm very optimistic at this point, and for where we stand right now in mid-June, I think we look pretty strong. It's been noted over multiple times over the last couple of years how labor seems to be our biggest challenge, and it continues to do so. Right now, it's a very competitive job market out there, not only in golf courses, but construction well throughout the valley. We are currently 6 employees short to be from our full staff. That does include our 4 H-2B employees who recently left with their visa expiring at the end of May. We hope to have those 4 return in October on their H-2B visas, as well as an additional 2 employees on H-2B visas come October. We have hired recently some high school kids who are helping out, in particular on weekends, allowing some of our full-time staff to have the odd day off on a Saturday or Sunday. But labor continues to be a challenge, not only for Mirabel, but for all golf courses around the valley. In recent weeks, Arizona's hit a lot of national news with the Tier 1 droughts being called up at Lake Mead. So a lot of questions have been asked towards me. What does this mean for Mirabel? Honestly, Mirabel's in a very good position. We do receive effluent water from the city of Scottsdale. It is a blend using CAP or canal water from the Colorado River from Lake Mead is a percentage of that. It's basically 1/3 of it. The other 2 components are tertiary treated effluent and RO treated effluent. Right now, the city does not claim that they'll have any restrictions on that CAP over the next year or 2, but obviously things may change and may change quickly. But Mirabel is still in a very good position. We do have our water allocations. We do have water rights for a set amount of water per year and or per day in a 24-hour period that the city is required to provide. So Mirabel, I'm quite confident, will have the water. What we will see in the future is an increase in price of the water. With the reduction over time of the canal water being available to Mirabel as well as even to homeowners, we're all going to see an increase in the water prices. But Mirabel still is in a very good position. As well as the Arizona Department of Water Resources has already passed the 4th management plan to the state and are currently working on the 5th management plan for water allocations for golf courses as well as various other industries. So what does this mean for Mirabel? There's no doubt Mirabel's water allocations are going to change. They'll be reduced. But again, we are using effluent water. We receive effluent credits, which put us in a very good position. And even if we exceed those allocations, there are no penalties at this point, as long as we're not using groundwater. Mirabel currently does not use any groundwater. It's considered effluent because of the blend, and we do not use groundwater. Those courses who use groundwater will be impacted by the new regulations in the 5th management plan with the AZ DWR. So moving forward, I think Mirabel is in a very good position with water. other than the fact that the price will be increasing. Hope everyone has a great summer and try to stay cool. Thank you.